Yellowstone, a beautiful national park, but it holds a big secret beneath its surface. A supervolcano that has lain dormant for hundreds of thousands of years is now showing signs of activity again. In 2025, scientists detected something that couldn't be ignored. The ground beneath Yellowstone was moving. Not just rising and falling, but a pattern of movement that could give us clues about the future of this giant volcano. Landslides, or ground deformation, are the rise or fall of the Earth's surface due to pressure from below. In Yellowstone, this occurs when magma, hot water, or gas presses against the Earth's crust. Sometimes the ground rises, called uplift. Sometimes it falls, called subsidence. This movement is usually only a few centimeters per year, but to scientists, every centimeter can mean a lot. Since the 1970s, Yellowstone has exhibited remarkable signs of ground slides. Between 1975 and 1985, the ground in the center of the caldera rose more than 1 meter. Then, between 2004 and 2008, the rate of rise reached 7 centimeters per year, one of the fastest in the history of monitoring. But after that, the pattern changed. Since 2015, Yellowstone has actually been subsidence, about 2 to 3 centimeters per year. This cycle of ups and downs is what scientists continue to monitor today, a continent-scale scientific instrument funded by the U.S. National Science Foundation. In addition to monitoring Yellowstone's volcanic system, this network informs us about processes such as tectonic plate movement, earthquake hazards, land subsidence, and much more. The small landslides in Yellowstone occur within a larger picture as all of North America continues to move. To fully understand what's happening in Yellowstone, we must first consider that larger picture. The North American plate is moving toward the Pacific Ocean while simultaneously rotating counterclockwise. It's not just instruments that detect these changes. Sometimes, animals also give clues. Bison, elk, and even birds around Yellowstone are sometimes seen moving away from certain areas, as if following their instincts. Meanwhile, geysers and hot pools are also exhibiting strange behavior. More frequent eruptions, rising temperatures, even new vents suddenly appearing. All of these are part of the signs that Yellowstone is never still. The earthquake hazard on the West Coast, where the North American plate meets its neighbors, is obvious from the movement of the San Andreas Fault and the Cascadia subduction zone. However, to understand earthquakes that might result from more subtle movements inland, we must look for areas where the plates are being slightly compressed or pulled apart, and these are difficult to see without the proper perspective or frame of reference. To understand this ground movement, scientists are working around the clock. They are installing hundreds of GPS sensors, seismographs, and using satellites to monitor changes in the ground. Supercomputers analyze the data, modeling how magma moves beneath Yellowstone. The results show that most of the magma is still solid, with only 5 to 15% being completely liquid. This means that the likelihood of a supervolcano eruption is still very small. However, no one can predict Yellowstone with certainty. Therefore, 24-hour monitoring is ongoing. There is even more severe deformation affecting the Yellowstone landscape as a whole. Magma and underground water can cause the Yellowstone caldera to expand and contract like a balloon over time, creating local deformation patterns. When viewed solely by GPS station positions based on their east-west movement, stations inside the Yellowstone caldera stand out. Instead of migrating continuously in one direction, like stations outside the caldera, stations inside the caldera move toward or away from the caldera over time due to subtle periods of inflation and deflation. The ground movement at Yellowstone in 2025 is a reminder that the Earth is alive. Every centimeter that rises or falls is a whisper from the depths of the Earth. Is it a sign of danger or just Yellowstone's natural breath? We may not know the answer yet, but one thing is certain: Yellowstone is more than just a national park. It is a giant magma heart, constantly beating, waiting for its time to speak again. Yellowstone's animals seem to be more sensitive. Herds of bison, elk, and even birds are starting to move away from certain areas. This phenomenon has many asking, is nature's instincts sending a warning? The research team works day and night, monitoring every tremor, every movement of the ground. They map the areas most vulnerable to rupture, trying to understand the direction of magma pressure. Despite the use of sophisticated technology, no one can give a definitive answer. When will Yellowstone react? If this ruptured ground triggers a major eruption, the world will feel it. Ash could blanket the Americas, global temperatures plummet, and daily life come to a standstill. However, it's also possible that Yellowstone is simply taking a breath, releasing the pressure in a small eruption. The ground beneath Yellowstone is ripping apart. Is this a sign of a major collapse, or simply a warning from nature? One thing is certain: Yellowstone is no ordinary park. It's a giant time bomb counting down.